Batman the Night, issue 4, Chip Zdarsky, writing with Carmine Di Domenico on the art. So this, obviously, it's hard not to think of Batman Begins a little bit at the start of this because it's Bruce climbing the mountain to get to the dojo.
Yep.
But basically, he gets beat up a lot by various different like students that are training here, and then eventually one day he's let in, and he befriends a fellow student who, like, so Bruce gives a fake name. He keeps calling himself Jack, and this guy goes by Anatoly. But the entire time I'm thinking, who is this asshole? Like, he is someone, and I didn't get it by the end of the issue, and maybe it's blatantly obvious, and I'm being an idiot, but I don't know who it is, and it's bugging me.
Whoever it is, it's untrustworthy, and it made me think Ghostmaker. That's just because I don't like Ghostmaker.
Unless like Zdarsky really wants to tie it into recent continuity,
yeah,
it can't be, right?
No, I feel like this is just a character that we see that is. He's meant to represent Bruce's trust and how quick Bruce is to trust people that he maybe shouldn't, because by the time we see at the end, this person has their own goals.
At the very least, I don't know if he necessarily has his own goals. He probably does, but at the very least, he's manipulative because when Bruce goes to leave because he doesn't want to learn how to kill someone because that's the lesson that they're going to teach. Like a bunch of the students show up and fight him. The newer ones who are getting the carte blanche to come in because the expert, the sensei, he is basically, for protection, for allowing him to operate, he has to train a batch of students for whoever like his benefactor is. So whatever like mob boss or head of the, whether it be Yakuza or whatever, the triads. It's a Japanese sensei, but it mentions that he's on the border of China and Korea.
So he was kicked out of Japan for teaching the deathly arts.
Yes.
And so this is where he went. I kept thinking they were referring to Roz because...
the benefactor? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I mean, it makes sense. These could be like shadows / assassin / whatever.
Yeah, and that's... This guy made me think of the sensei, which is the character.
Yeah, this group that's being trained could be like people that Raz wants trained for, right. But anyway, what I was getting to is at the end, this quote unquote friend, we find out he's the one who told them to go after Bruce when he was leaving, and it's all a play so that he could come in and help Bruce, so that Bruce would want him to go with him, because he asked him at first, like when he says he's leaving, like, let me go with you, let us go on this journey, because you've got this list of names to learn from that you got from Descartes. Let's go and train from them together. And Bruce is like, nah, this is my own journey, I can't do it on my own. But then when he gets help, and it's hard not to see, like obviously there's some other parts of this which do kind of like track, because one day he's going to have a Robin, one day he's going to have allies, and he's going to have these like partners that he fights with, but that's not until later. But this guy's very untrustworthy. I feel like it is going to turn out to be someone. I think the idea that Bruce is using this fake name of Jack is definitely signaling to us that this other guy is also using a fake name, and we don't know who it is yet. So
for sure,
I just
I really like this episode, this issue too, because it reminded me of the stuff that I love in Iron Fist, right? Him climbing up the mountain and getting the piss just beat out of him, but him not turning back, which is what makes him more Batman than Iron Fist, right? But just that whole setting of him coming to train on this high mountain and him having to earn it. I love that, and it shows. This is one of the aspects of Bruce that I like, is that he won't stay down, right?
Yeah,
he's gonna keep coming. It's that drive that makes him Batman. So this guy is Master Kirigi, and he's the one that trained Bronze Tiger.
Okay.
So he's created by Christopher Priest and appearing in Batman 431, and his first appearance was in Detective Comics 996.
Wait, Christopher Priest has been writing comics long enough to go back to Batman 400 something?
431, yeah.
Damn.
Let's see what that was. Christopher Priest and Jim Aparo creation. And that was from 1989. So yeah.
Okay.
Anyway. So this character, I feel like he's taking the spot of the sensei, because when I looked up the sensei, it's a little bit like, this is definitely 60s comics. Not for the better. But yeah, I do feel like there are, League of Shadows, League of Assassins vibes going, which is good because that's one of my favorite parts of Bruce's journey, is like where he runs into Roz and he thinks like Roz is this person that has everything figured out, but or does he? So, and I'm wondering if this guy that befriends him with the, befriends Jack. I wonder if he's someone that works with the League and he sees the potential, and he's going to take him there or
maybe
whatever, But there's definitely more to him because he is charismatic. He's charismatic in the ways that Bruce isn't. But he also, now that I'm looking back over at the art, he has the Roz hairline with the gray in the back. So now that I'm thinking that it's Roz exactly, but maybe it's someone to do with him. But
yeah, I mean, this was a quick read. Because a lot of the early stuff, there's a good like 6-7 pages at the start that is just like there's very little dialogue. It's just fighting in the snow. There's a big fight scene at the end, so it is a fairly quick, brisk read. This one, which is a very big contrast to, I'd say, the first like 2 issues, which were very wordy and did take a long time to read. So I appreciate the change of pace. I'm enjoying this as kind of just an interesting take on like Bruce's traveling, but as he becomes Batman. But
yeah, I'm kind of hoping this becomes Batman's birthright, right? So then you could have, if you want like these proto origin stories for those characters, right? You have Superman birthright, and then you'd have Batman the Knight. I also like that they kind of rhyme, which I just now realized.
Yeah, but Birthright actually heavily goes into like post becoming Superman though. It's like his entire first interaction and like winning over the people and like Lex is a villain. Like, so that's like a proper origin story. Whereas this, I don't know how much this is actually going to go into like the start of his being Batman.
Well, that's why I said this one's a proto origin, right? That will end with him coming back to Gotham, I think. And then we'll go into there because you don't need to rehash year one. How many times have we done that? Over the course
of that.
Like I don't need to see yes, Father, I'll become the Bat at the end of this. I hope it's just him getting off the plane. Like you brought it begins at the beginning.
Yeah.
How Bruce gets off the plane to Alfred. And he's like, "Oh, we're so glad to see you."
Gets on the plane, you mean?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Gets on the plane. I'm conflating that with Iron Man, where he gets off the plane and orders a cheeseburger.
Yeah. All right. What are you giving Batman the Knight?
I'll give this one an 8.
Okay. I think I'll probably go more with 7.5. I think. Yeah, it's pretty solid though. It is pretty solid. It does still feel a little like there's just something about this series that is pretty solid, but just doesn't quite feel important. And that's like a really weird distinction because like why does anything that's not like currently ongoing story feel important? Because many do. It's hard to tell you, but there's just something about it just feels a little bit like, oh, this is a nice thing that exists, but it's not like, it was like the last thing I read this week.
I just like that it's a nice light read. This one I was happy to see all of the Gia Domenico fight scenes. So it's a nice break in a lot of stuff. And, this was a book that I didn't really want to read. And now, thanks to Zdarsky, I get excited for Batman and I hate myself for it.
And don't get me wrong, like I'm fully anticipating his actual Batman run. But I would describe this series as a very nice, pleasant thing that is, if you want another book, if you fancy it, give it a go. But it's not necessarily like a must read either.